of a cybersecurity symposium series, and OTISP is a non-profit organisation. The objectives creating communities for OT, IoT, and emerging technologies via presentations and seminars like today. So these online events are technical sessions with industry-leading experts providing their insights into technology trends, and you'll be able to engage in these sessions via the Q&A. So as we go through the presentations, please feel free to share your questions, and we'll address them after each presentation. Kicking off today's session is, have we got Gavin in as a presenter? I think not yet. So kicking off today's session is Khatib, Mohammed Al-Khatib, and Khatib joins us from Saudi Arabia. He's a cybersecurity specialist with hardware hacking and penetration testing expertise, and he'll be discussing hardware pen testing demystified. So I'll hand over to Khatib now to get started, and we'll begin the presentation.
Just let me know if I'm audible and my screen is visible.
We've got sound and we've got the picture, so we're good.
Okay, but no screen, right? So let me.
Oh yeah, the screen sharing isn't visible. I can see you, but I can't see your screen.
Okay, just allow me a minute. I'm sharing the screen. Strange. Entire screen, and it should be visible now.
Yes, yeah, we've got it. We're good.
Perfect. So, hi everyone. Good morning. I think it's good morning there, and here is good evening for the kingdom. I'm Mohammed Al-Khatib. I'm cybersecurity and digital forensic master, and working in the University of Prince Mogren, shortly UPM, as a cybersecurity and digital forensic lecturer since last 6 years, exactly from 2018 in the cybersecurity department. So during this time, I did a lot of researches in hardware security and AI security, basically in general cybersecurity domain. Recently, we launched the track for OT security, so we are actively involved there. This is just basic about me, and I think is it clear now and full screen?
Yeah, we've got it.
Yeah, perfect. So today's agenda will be, first I will explain what is the hardware pen testing and why it is important. Then I will tell you about the techniques that are most common in the hardware attacks. Then we'll show you some pen testing tools that usually we use it. There are some that I am presenting, and there are many which I'm not presenting because of the time. So I selected the most that we use. Then I will show you side channel attack with the demo, explain a bit what is side channel attack, then show you the demo. Then we have a Q&A session. So the hardware pen testing. Basically, if you see every one of us, or mostly in the cybersecurity domain, everyone focusing on software security or IT security. So focusing on the vulnerability of the network or vulnerability of the software. Rarely you see people are looking for the hardware, the physical security, the physical device that we are using, the security of that device itself, the components that process our data. If it is not secure, not trusted, so the entire and there is no you can say in simple word, there is no benefit of security controls that you are putting on software or networks and so on if your hardware is untrusted. We'll show you some examples how you exploit the hardware and what significant attack that you can perform on just by exploiting the hardware. So when we talk about the hardware pen testing, it's about physical device pen testing, the interfaces that we have on the device, the embedded system, yani you can say the design itself, the firmware that is on the device, and the communication protocols that used by the device. So this is what we mean by hardware pen testing in general. The purpose of hardware pen testing is identify the vulnerability as what we do in the software pen testing. Identify the vulnerability and report it, and propose the countermeasures. How we protect the system or how we patch the system. Same thing here, same cycle, but in terms of hardware. What we find here in the hardware, the backdoors, weak encryption mechanism, insecure implementation of protocols, or insecure use of APIs, and so on. Once we evaluate that, we have to report it and patch it. But the problem here in the hardware is not like a software. While you are patching, and in the software you can immediately patch it, release the patch or update for the software. But this is not the case with the hardware, because once it's made, it's so difficult to change it. You can update the firmware, but you cannot update the hardware. We'll see some examples in this presentation that because of that vulnerability, you have to change the hardware itself. The complete hardware should be changed, not just update the firmware or the OS or something. No, the complete hardware should be changed to patch that vulnerability. Another purpose of hardware pen testing is to compile you have compliance with the standards like IEC 27001 or IEC 62443 and FIPS 104-3, which is for cryptography modules, or with the NIST guidelines. So for with the pen testing, you can acquire the compliance or enforce the compliance. So while we are talking about the hardware security, most of us, when listen about or hear about the hardware security, they say, okay, it's just theoretical things. Really, they are just few example, but we are exaggerating the things. But this is not the fact. If you see the report, which was released by NIST in last November, there are documented scenarios, 98 documented failure scenarios specific to the hardware and firmware. If you can see, and once you read the report, you see how the devices that we have at this time in the market, how they are vulnerable in different aspects, like in secure boot. There are vulnerabilities in secure boot. There are vulnerabilities with access control at the hardware level. You can once you get the access to the interfaces, you'll see in the example in the demos, you can gain the complete access of the hardware. You can manipulate it and destroy the hardware and so on. So in this report, you'll see they are reporting these scenarios for different categories, starting from access control to the supply chain attack. So it's not just theoretical. There are many attacks. We have examples of that attack. We recently saw a few examples in the supply chain attack, and we refer it later on, like a pager attack, and before that, in 2014, I think, or 12, it was reported with the DoD department in the USA, or in the DoD in the USA. So here is the first example of hardware attack that I want to mention, which was announced in 2018. It was meltdown attack. All the CPUs, mostly all the Intel CPUs and other vendors CPUs as well, were vulnerable to this. all the even now they are vulnerable. If you have a CPU which is CPU made before 2018, you are vulnerable to this vulnerability. Even there is a patch for the microcode of the processor, still the root cause was not solved. Root cause solved by the changing the hardware, the CPU itself. So from 2019 onwards, the CPUs made by the Intel and other manufacturer, they are not vulnerable to this at the hardware level. So what was this attack, by the way? So here in this attack, we'll see some terminologies that I'm going to describe later on, like side channel attack. What is the purpose of that side channel attack? You just you keep the name. If you don't know about the what is side channel attack, just remember it. Later on, I will explain it. So meltdown attack, what basically it was targeting, there was a feature for optimization the CPU uh, instruction execution. So for example, let me give you an example. There is instruction load A, then perform operation on A, then return A. But loading A in the CPU will take time. So there was something is called in out of order execution. So what is out of order execution? If some operation or instruction takes time, you can keep that. For example, here we have load A. So load A will take time. So meanwhile, I can do another task. So I will do another task. So this malware, this attack was utilizing this out of order instruction execution. Basically it was for enhancing the performance of the CPU, but uh, they utilize this mechanism to reveal the data. What was happening, just in nutshell, they force CPU to execute specific instructions. Those instructions and it will access sensitive data in memory and load it in the into cache of the CPU. But as usual, uh, if you don't have authorized access to that data, CPU will discard the results. But the problem here is the data will remain in the cache for some time. So using side channel attack, attacker reveal this data from the cache. It could be your password, browser password, credentials, login credential, for example, or it could be encryption key. So if there was some encryption or decryption process going on at that time, they can retrieve that key. We'll see lot of attacks here, hardware based attack, in which for example, AES is the strongest encryption system that we have at the moment. We cannot break it, but attacker can steal the key. We'll see those in the coming examples. Another hardware-based attack was reported in 2022, which is Heartbleed attack. Don't confuse with the Heartbleed attack, which is related to the software security. But Heartbleed here is related to the hardware, in which uh, they utilize the frequency, dynamic frequency scaling. Once you give complex tasks to the CPU, the frequency will increase, so it will work on its maximum capacity. But if there is a lighter task, it will reduce its frequency. So attacker use this one and these features. Obviously is a power consumption feature, and it's for power optimization feature. So attacker utilize this to know what the process is processing at this time. We'll see practical example that was done in the UPM in our university here. How students utilize the time consumption and electromagnetic field, two different examples, to retrieve the key from the processor. Processor is processing key for and using the encryption key for encryption or decryption. We utilize that time and guess the key. Basically it's about and all about guessing till we reach to the final key. Guess is based on some mathematics, it's not random guessing. We'll show you that as well. The problem of this attack, it will bypass the constant time programming. because this is one of the mechanism to avoid side channel attacks, that you perform constant time processing or process execution or constant time programming. Both are same, but and what is the meaning of this? If you are processing data A or data B, there should be consistency in the time, so the attacker cannot realize what data you are processing, but it bypass that and can be executed remotely. This attack can execute remotely, not like other hardware attack where the attacker needs to be in the field or near the hardware or inject something in the hardware. These two examples for the attacks. Now move to the techniques. These are the most common techniques in hardware attacks: side channel analysis or side channel attack, firmware analysis, interface exploitation, fault injection, and chip off and memory extraction, reverse engineering, and common communication protocol analysis. I will describe all this in brief. Just dive in details of side channel attack, which is the topic of today's webinar, and then I will show you the demos. In side channel attack, what we will do, we utilize the unintended physical emissions like power timing or electromagnetic radiation. Another one is firmware analysis, where we extract the firmware. The first step here is extracting the firmware from the hardware. There are steps behind that, and it's not that easy. There are tools that I will show you here. Once I will show you the tools, I will refer. We can use this for what? Um, Once you successfully extract the firmware, now you can analyze it and discover hard-coded password, backdoors, insecure APIs, or if there is a flaw in the encryption mechanism. Basically, once you have the firmware, you know the working of the hardware. Another one is interface exploitation. Mostly what you will see in the real field, once you start debugging or understanding the hardware, it's so difficult to identify the components, first of all, that I will cover in the reverse engineering. And another problem, there are multiple interfaces that we are looking for. If those interfaces hidden and intentionally the manufacturer hide it, for example, distribute the ports for the same interface around the board, or remove the label. So if the pins of the interface distributed around the board, you cannot identify which port is there. It's so difficult, but we have hardware that can be used to identify the interfaces. We'll see that once I will discuss the tools. Second, or the third one is the fault injection attack. The injection attack is nothing, it's just disturbing the normal operation of the device by injecting and by introducing the glitches in the voltage or the clock cycle. By doing so, you can bypass the authentication mechanism, or you can put the hardware in the specific state, which is unintended state. So what will happen, you can bypass the authentication will not apply on you. Chip off and memory extraction is complicated one. Sometime if you do this, you may destroy the hardware. So what you will do basically here, you extract the complete chip, then extract the data from it. There are examples of it, like you can do it with the RAM, but while doing with the RAM, you cannot turn on the power. The system should be live, so it's tricky. uh, in other one, like if you have ROM, for example, ROM chip, you can extract it, then extract it from the board, then analyze it and extract the data from it. We need reverse engineering as well. If you have board, usually to secure the board, what the manufacturer do, they confuse you in terms of the interfaces, or even they hide the name of the components, so it become so difficult to identify which component is this. So reverse engineering skills should be there. For that, For sure you should have the basic of electronics, so you can understand the working and correlate this IC could be this or this based on the location on the board and based on the shape and so on. If you have experience, you can do the reverse engineering. Last one, which is communication protocol analysis. We use logic analyzer here to analyze the protocols and find if there is a plain text data or if there is a flow in the implementation of the protocol. Okay. So basically, if you start with the pen testing tool, obviously these are the basic tools that you must know how to operate it, and you should have it. One is the multimeter. Is necessary for identifying the components, finding the knowing where is the ground and which one is VCC and so on. So multimeter is the core of the requirement. You should have it and you should know how to use it. Then uh, oscilloscope. You need this to analyze the signals. For sure, physics, and we learned this in high school in physics, and most of the universities teach how to use oscilloscope in the first year as well, or prepare. So these skills are crucial for hardware pen testing. These are the common things, but it should be there. Then we have like HEC RF1 or this RTL SDR. Basically, both are same devices with different capacity. We use HEC RF1 for any kind of radio frequency attacks. Anything related to the signals, you can use HEC RF1. Starting, if you know the range, is start from 1 megahertz up to 5 gigahertz. Means starting from your hotel card room, the smart cards for hotel rooms, and the remote key of the car, and um, up to mobile phones, up to satellite, because the 5 gigahertz supports by the satellite communication. So using this, if you saw some video, if you someone aware of this, they can use for unlocking the car, for unlocking the doors as well. Can be used to produce a rogue man in the middle router, the tower for the mobile, to intercept the mobile communication. Lastly, you can communicate to the uh, space station as well. You can they send some images once they are crossing your country, or so you can receive that data as well. Kind of attacks that we perform using this is car unlocking, as I said, drone hacking, um, air gap system hacking that I will show you, and yeah, listen to the airport, to the control station at the airport, TC. Yeah, control station, control tower. The difference between these two devices, just the capability of frequency supported by this and this. This one supports lower range of the frequency, and this one can support everything from the 1 megahertz up to 5 gigahertz. Then we use this one as well, Wi-Fi pineapple, for pen testing related to the Wi-Fi. You can do the same with this. The problem with the HEC RF1 is the complexity. You have to write your script, and then you can execute what you want. Basically, SDR can do anything related to the radio frequencies or related to the radiation. Um, if you want to compare SDR, the closest example is software defined network. SDN is the closest example of the SDR. You can do whatever want with the anything related to the radio. You can do it with the HEC-RF1. So anything related in the network, you can do with SDN. The Pineapple, this comes with some capabilities of phishing attacks and bombarding a large network with a lot of packets and so on that you need for pen testing. Then these are the crucial tools that we use. On the right hand side or left hand side, the JTagulator. We use this to identify the JTag interface on the board. You remember when I told you that manufacturer usually hide the interfaces. So what you will do, you just identify the ground and the voltage using multimeter. Then you connect rest of the available pins on the board to the jet regulator. Then once you run the script, it will start scanning all the pins that you are connected to this. So once it start receiving correct data, it will tell you that this pin is pin number that in the JTAG interface. So you can map the JTAG interface, discard and distribute around the board. Then you have the bus pirate. You use bus pirate for communicating and to interact the communication protocol like I2C, API, UART, and more. So once the right hand side or left hand side, the jet regulator to identify the interface, and left hand side is for communication purpose, and you interact with the protocols itself. We use this one as well, which is a Proxmark 3. We use it for RFID attacks. If you have and if you want to clone hotel cards or ATM cards as well, cloning ATM cards, there are some protocols supported by the or standards supported by the ATM cards, standards used by bank, that is supported by Pro Max 3. There are other RFID readers, but those readers don't support those standards. So this is the perfect device for dealing with the bank cards. And obviously this one or the older one or with less capacity is fine for hotel cards or other smart cards, the access management card. We use logic analyzer, as I told you, for analyzing the protocols, fetching if there is any, seeing if there is any plain text data. So you fetch that data, and you even for recovering the for extracting framework from the board at the initial stage, you need logic analyzer. Because of the time, we are not going into any details of each one, just giving you in brief what device we use for what. Chip whisperer, this is the one that you will see in the demo. um, Chip whisperer is made for side channel attack. You can perform side channel attack using, and easily you can perform side channel attack using chip whisperer. Otherwise, and you make your life tougher if you don't use this. It's costly, but at the same time it's make your life easy. So there is a complete professional kit for chip whisperer, and we were using this in one of our capstone project. So you'll see that here. Yep. So before showing you the demo, just let me briefly describe or explain the what is side channel attack. As you know, what we said in the beginning, you capture the unintended data leakage. How is it unintended? Like a power consumption. It was not intended that someone if even if it was not accepted, you cannot imagine in the beginning, before this happened, that someone can utilize the power consumption and retrieve the data. Someone can capture the electromagnetic radiation coming out from the CPU, and correlate the samples and find out the key. So no one can imagine this, but it can happen using side channel attack. In side channel attack, basically we use these three you can say these three parameters are there. Either we focus on power analysis, so we measure the power consumption, then you see the we retrieve the key or sensitive data, or electromagnetic field, or the timing. What this one also explained in the one of the demo coming in the next slide. So starting with the electromagnetic field, electromagnetic radiation is comes out from all the objects in the universe. Even our human body produce around, I think, 30 hertz. Yeah, if I'm right. So around 30 hertz of electromagnetic. So you can capture, you can see the human behind the wall. If you know about this project, if you want to know who is the behind the wall of or if there is a human behind the wall, they use this concept. So we use similar concept for retrieving data from processor. So here is the first example of side channel attack on TV. So it's basic attack, but you can understand what's going on and what can happen if you utilize this side channel attack. So here, what they are doing, they are using HackRF1 that I showed you. So they are analyzing the frequency, or just finding out the frequency. Let me mute the sound and explain it. So this is the HackRF1. What they are doing here in the stage one, they are just looking for the range of the EM, electromagnetic field, that's coming from this screen. Once they figure out this, they are using black and white lines just to easily find out the frequency. Then here in the next example, yep, this is the one. Once they know the frequency, so what they are doing, see this is the, sorry, what you are seeing here. Thank you FC411. This was the course project. So FC411 is the secure network design course here in the UPM. So they displayed this on the screen. Now using HackRF1, without connecting to that screen, is old screen, without connecting to it, and you can say it is air gap system. We are able to see what is displayed on the screen. Obviously here is the black and white, there is a colorful, you can see, just see, this is the laptop, and see, oh, sorry, display. So display, this is HackRF1 capturing the electromagnetic field from that's coming from the screen. So the same attack can be performed behind the wall, and you need to modify the antenna so you can capture the electromagnetic field correctly or amplify it. Then you can do the same attack behind the wall. Just assume that you are watching something on your mobile screen and no one hacked your phone via internet, or you can say you are disconnected from internet, nothing is connected to your phone, but someone behind the wall can watch you or can see what you are watching on your phone. So this is one of the side channel attack. Another one, this is the one that yeah, you have to listen to it. So in this attack, what happened, uh, our student first first burned the code on the Arduino, which is for AES encryption. So what they did, they first sent the plain text and captured the electromagnetic fields coming from the microcontroller on the Arduino. So to know what type of electromagnetic field we get if the encryption key is this and plain text is this, and for example letter A and key is 1234, for example, to encrypt letter A, key 1234 will produce this kind of electromagnetic radiation. So utilizing this, making the data set, now they perform the attack on the same device without knowing the key. And some one of the student entered the encryption key, another student trying to fetch that key without having any knowledge about the key. So I think it's 2 minutes video, we can listen to it. Just let me know if the audio, you can hear the audio or not.
Assalamu alaikum. So to start, we have our Jupyter notebook open here.
Is the audio clear? From the video, not my.
Yeah, the audio from the video is coming out. Yeah, we got it.
You can hear it. Perfect.
Yeah. You might need to maybe adjust the volume a little bit if you can to turn it
Assalamu
up.
alaikum. Start, we have our Jupyter here.
So, sorry?
You might need to turn the volume up a little bit. We can hear it, but it's not that clear.
I think if I go to the share, I think there was an option to share the screen, sorry, system voice audio. audio only. I saw somewhere is because usually we use here Teams and in the UPM, so there is an option that you share the system audio as well.
We've lost you, Khatib. Khatib, can you hear me? No, apologies. I'm not sure the screen share is working properly. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, got you back. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
A group that is measuring the power consumption in the VCC line of the Arduino. So in the Jupyter notebook, we will set up some necessarily work environment and variables. We will define the baud rate of the Arduino, which is 19,200. We will also define that we want to capture 24,000 samples in each power trace. Then, for testing purposes, we will capture about 5 power traces, as you can see, and we will plot one of them. We can also plot two traces on top of each other and notice the tiny differences between them. We will rely on these differences in our analysis to extract the AES key. Finally, we will start the actual capturing loop where we will capture 1000 power traces. These traces will be needed to analyze and extract the AES 16-byte key. So after we capture the traces, we can start our analysis. So the analysis algorithm will analyze in batches. Each batch consists of 25 traces. We can see the actual bytes of the key appearing on top as we progress in the analysis. After we completed our attack, we can run some post-processing analysis to see how efficient our attack was. So our first analysis shows that the correlation was mostly in the first 10,000 samples of each trace, so we could have done without the rest. Also, the partial listening entropy analysis shows us that the key was actually found after the first 300 traces only. Now, when it comes to magnetic field analysis, we will use an H-field probe to measure the magnetic emissions of the processor. In the Jupyter notebook, we increase the gain to the maximum value of 70, and we can also start a live capturing loop that will allow us to find the best position for the probe. In our case, we have already done that some time. From there, the analysis is pretty similar to
Just interrupting here. If you can see this stick, the black stick here, is the antenna, or you can say is the receiver for electromagnetic field that's come with the chip whisperer.
previous one. Only this time, we will need way more traces to conduct the analysis successfully.
I'm just speeding
As you
up
can
this.
see, we needed
So
more than 2600 traces.
it took around 15 minutes after getting the capture from electromagnetic field of the microcontroller till we found the final key. So what is the concept behind it, by the way? It's just profiling, and first we profile the keys, and this key will produce this kind of pattern. You can say this is the best example to present that. Yep. So first we profile the key or the letters. Then once we found once we got the capture of the electromagnetic field, we correlate that capture with the samples that we have. So the perfect match was with this K2. So this is the K2 is the key here in this case. So this is how it was working, byte by byte. For ES, they compare sample byte by byte to find out the actual key. So you can see, according to the standard, that AES will take, even now, will take up to years to break down. So there is no straightforward breakdown for the AES. But with this kind of attack, you just saw it's just about 15 minutes to extract the key. If you cannot break it, you steal it. And this is what happened here. This is just a 10-second demo where we use Hack RF1 to listen to the aircraft. I don't know whether it was clear or not. Well, maybe the sound was not clear. So this is the last slide. Now I'm done with this. So welcome to your questions.
I think one of the questions that we'll run through is just any insights into the future of hardware security, particularly in OT ahead of next year.
Yeah, of course. Just let me correlate with in terms of OT and in terms of hardware security itself. In terms of OT, for sure is any must. And after some attacks on the after attack on the Aramco, eventually here in the kingdom, we are and the NC enforced the it's called ECC, Essential Cybersecurity Controls, for specifically for the OT environment. So that's include even the transparency in the supply chain as well.
Yeah.
And in Europe, I think there is an act called CRA, Cyber Resilience Act, which will be enforced by 2027, I think so. So by that act, all the manufacturers should adhere of the cybersecurity standards and acquire the compliance with the cyber and hardware security compliance.
Yeah.
So this will enforce the cybersecurity or the hardware manufacturer to look at and to focus on hardware or secure hardware by design principle. What happened now? Hardware made without concern of the security, just focusing on the features what we can provide to the consumer, without any significant focus on the cybersecurity or the security of the hardware. So after this act, what will happen in Europe? Every manufacturer should get the compliance certificate for it and follow all the standards. Means the device should be secure by manufacturing, not after that. Like we saw some examples in which even you discovered the attack, discovered the vulnerability. Now there is no way to patch it. You have to replace the hardware.
Yeah. Okay. It's a big problem. But yeah, okay. Thank you, Khatib. We're gonna move into Gavin's presentation, but thanks for that. It was really insightful. I'm sure everyone on the call agrees it's an excellent presentation.